You know, I can eat a peach for hours.
Hello and welcome to Food to Watch Films By, Episode 2.
Hi there.
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
It's coming at you.
We are back. Back for a second go.
Oh, yes.
Second bite at the cherry.
They've allowed us back. My name is Johnny.
My name is Adam.
And we're your hosts on this experiential voyage into the combination of food and films together.
Oh man, I love the way you said that. It's particularly together bit.
It was haunting.
It was elegant, a little virgin on creepy, but you just kind of held it together.
I was going for something a little eloquent.
It was. You were touching my leg at the time as well, so that's.
Yes, we are we're sat quite closely together actually. I think because last time your voice was a little quieter than mine, so
hopefully I'm booming at the moment.
Booming. Yeah, so for those who've not listened to this before, this is only our second episode, so you've not missed that much. But anyway, so essentially the idea of this podcast is we talk about films that we've watched recently and suggest food that we think would complement that film well and give you more of an experience, heighten your sensory experience of watching that film. So, Adam, episode 1 went well, didn't it?
People listened, which is something we didn't expect. We have reached certain parts of the globe.
Yes. Touched people.
We've touched people.
Yes.
In areas that we didn't expect to touch them. So for that I'm grateful. Thank you for allowing us to touch you.
I like the idea of inspiring people with my suggestions on kebabs.
Yeah, you've inspired several heart conditions.
Yes,
John, I hope you're proud.
Since last episode, we've bought our own domain name, foodtowatchfilmsby.com. Little plug there, and we've also set up our own Twitter and Facebook. So shit got real.
It got real very quickly.
It did.
We're out there. We're on the web.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
So yeah,
we're like those pesky hipsters. In any case, so I was having a bit of a reminisce the other day, Glover, about because in the last episode you talked about how you and me lived together in a shared household once upon a time, and I was remembering some of your eating habits, and I remember you had a bit of a fetish for reggae sauce. Is this something
fetish
you
sounds strong?
Yeah, well, I'd come down the kitchen and find you rubbing it on, bread, chicken.
As I said, it sounded strong, not accurate, but yeah,
kebab.
It was. It's I got a little bit addicted to reggae sauce. It's not something that's lasted.
Are you still a user of reggae?
I'm not injecting it straight into my veins anymore. Thankfully, I'm not mainlining reggae. But I feel I've grown up a little bit. And I've moved on to chutneys now. Yeah, and
nice chutney.
The thing is with reggae, you've just got reggae. There's not. I mean, I'm sure there are variations of reggae sauce, but it is what it is. It's spicy brown sauce essentially, isn't it?
It is.
With chutneys, you've got different types. You can have an apple-based chutney, tomato-based chutney.
You can
plum, if you like your plums.
I like the way you said plum there.
Yeah. Plum, and it goes well with an ale.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm well into my chutneys at the moment.
That's good.
Big fan.
Well,
anyway, I could talk all day about chutneys. Let's move on.
Try one if you've not. Go out and buy one.
Yeah, and for those American listeners, for example, or Japanese listeners, which we now have, not in abundance, but we have some.
Yeah. Konnichiwa.
Google chutney. You may be surprised
and astounded.
Or you may just have another word other than chutney. I feel like I'm saying chutney a lot.
Try it on some sushi. It might work. You never know.
It could do. I'm going to try that when I get home.
Yeah. Breaking boundaries, that's what we're trying to do on this show. Boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay, so last episode we did a bit of an Adam's top 50, 500, top 5. And so we were thinking of keeping it as a bit of a theme. Now, I've created a little jingle, a little, shall we say, musical setup
I've not heard this yet as well. So
are you surprised?
I'm a little bit scared as to what it might be.
Okay, well, before you say what your top 5 is, let's have a preview of Adam's top 5 theme.
Cause this is Adam's top 10. I mean 5.
Yes.
Oh, Johnny, I didn't know you could get that high. That was...
Yeah, it's... I mean, you might notice it might sound a little bit similar to Marvin Gaye's Got to Give It Up.
I was thinking a little bit Prince as well, though, with the vocals.
Prince,
yeah. I was half expecting you to go into Purple Rain at some stage.
Purple Wayne?
Purple Wayne.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought about putting a bit of a disclaimer out there, because that guy who got told off for doing a song that sounded too much like Marvin Gaye's.
Yeah, the Marvin Gaye's daughter, Miss Gay.
Miss Gay.
We don't want to be attacked by the gays. So they're,
yeah. So if any Marvin Gaye fans, any members of the
what do they call Marvin Gaye
gay
fans?
estate, or even the gay community? It's intentional.
We respect the gay community. Please don't come after us. For this. What do you think the call Marvin Gaye fans? Do you know that you've got Justin Bieber's Believers are the Beliebers? What do you think the gay fans would be?
Marvins?
I
don't know.
You took the safe route there.
Anyway, I think we're diverging somewhat. So anyway, I felt like Adam was quite attached to his top 5, so I thought I'd do it justice and give it a little setup. So do you want to introduce what this top 5 is all about this time?
Well, in the 4 weeks since the last podcast, we're going to have a bit of a somber start to it, really, because there has been some sad news, a little bit back to back in the film and indeed the music world. This year's started off with lost Lemmy from Motorhead. Mm-hmm. We then lost David Bowie. Mm-hmm. Very sad. And then Alan Rickman, also departed. Hans Gruber is gone. He's left us.
He's left the building.
Shuttled off this mortal coil. So it is kind of with a heavy heart that we start this episode, because those guys really, they're the kind of people you think are always going to be around to some extent, particularly like David Bowie. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get your head around that is not going to be on this earth anymore. So as a little bit of a tribute to the great man, this episode's top 5 is going to be Adam's top 5 David Bowie movie appearances. Bowie. So it's a bit of a tribute to the great man. When I was thinking through this top 5, I actually rewatched. I don't know if you've ever seen this, John. It was a documentary, Alan Yentop, documentary called "Cracked Actor."
Oh no, I've not seen it.
It's pretty good. I mean, it was filmed kind of in the height of David Bowie's drug addiction, as what but it was he'd kind of just broken America. It'd been established and had a really good following. So it was really kind of following. The sensation that was David Bowie at the time. Mm-hmm. And it makes a really good point at the start that, and it's kind of alluded to in the title of the documentary anyway. But David Bowie, I mean, aside from the movie appearances he's done, obviously he has been in film. He had, through the 70s, he's had a film career as long as he's had a music career almost. But as a musician, he was also an actor. Really, when you think about it, because he created these different characters. Mm-hmm. So whether it be Ziggy Stardust, Major Tom, Aladdin Sane, the
Thin White Duke.
Exactly, yeah. On stage he just didn't go on as David Bowie, David Jones, perform the songs that he's written. He kind of absorbed into these characters.
He did.
So at every level, he the man was an actor. So anyway,
He's a great guy.
So at first it was think of a top 5. Again I had a little play around. Mm-hmm. some honourable mentions that didn't make in the top 5.
Okay.
You love this, Johnny.
Keep them quick.
It was funny in Zoolander. That was good. Well, it was brief, but it was kind of quirky to have. That's Bowie.
Move on.
Fire Walk with Me.
Yes, of course. The greatest performance of anyone walking out of a lift and down a corridor ever.
What was with the accent as well? He adopted this Alabama sort of accent, and it's just it's a strange choice. He can do accents. I've heard him. He actually does a very good Yorkshire accent. Yeah, a lot of his backing band were from Hull, and he can do quite a good Yorkshire accent. His American accent wasn't great, but he stuck with it, bless him, stuck to his guns. Anyway, those are my 2 honourable mentions. Keeping it brief, John.
Yes.
So top 5. In at number 5 is actually not a movie appearance, it's a TV appearance. And I wanted to keep out of cameos, because he has popped up in a few cameos, but this one is well worth a mention, and it was his appearance in Extras.
Yes,
with Ricky Gervais.
Very, very good. Very funny.
It was funny. You got the it wasn't just,
silly little fat man.
Chubby little loser.
Chubby.
See his pug nose face. But it was funny. But his reaction as well, it was kind of really subtle. He's like kind of taking in what David, I was going to say David Brent then, as Ricky Gervais is kind of pouring out his soul. He's just taking it in, and then turns to the piano and just starts coming out with that song, and it made me chuckle. In at number 4.
Number 4
is Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence.
Oh, of course.
Have you seen this one?
Yeah, not since I was quite young, actually. I remember my dad really liking that film, and I can only really remember bits of it. I remember him being buried up to his head in sand. Probably giving away the ending. Sorry.
Spoilers. Spoiler alert for the entire of this podcast. Just assume spoilers.
We're going to ruin everything ever.
But Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Bowie comes out with a standout performance, along with Tony Conti, who is also very good in that,
and Takeshi Kitano as well, making an appearance.
Indeed.
With the doing the line of the film, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence.
Yep, and a good soundtrack as well. Check out the soundtrack.
Check it out.
Not done by Bowie,
no,
but a good soundtrack. Number 3. I've gone for The Prestige.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, he plays Tesla.
Yeah, Robert Tesla.
And he's rocking an accent again. He's rocking like a German or Hungarian or Austrian or whatever it was accent. Yeah, it was quite Germanic. Can't remember what Tesla was from.
Big coil.
Yeah, a huge coil, massive coil. It just comes in surrounded by electricity. What better way to introduce Bowie?
And he can make your hat disappear.
Yeah, exactly. Or duplicate. Does it duplicate the hat?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Isn't it?
Yeah. But it's performing with some big actors as well. There's Andy Serkis, and Hugh Jackman as well. That's is squaring off with those two,
and the Christian Bale.
Yeah. I don't think he has many scenes with Christian Bale. But it holds his own to say the least. So good, solid performance by Bowie there.
Yep.
In at number 2. The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Oh, yes, classic.
Sci-fi, 70s sci-fi.
Erotica in a weird way.
Drug fueled.
And
we're going to talk about that. A
little
bit later on.
Let's not divulge too much right now.
But that's number 2. Another good performance by Bowie. But at number 1, Johnny, can you guess? Can you guess what this is going to be?
Let me think. No, indulge me.
The Labyrinth.
Of course.
It's iconic, isn't it? I mean, it's perfect role for Bowie as the Goblin King.
Yeah, indeed.
It's it's unnerving at times, but yeah, it's brilliant in it. And before I was trying to sort of thinking through the top 5. I did ask a few close friends just to see what people's first reaction were. So when you to think of off the top of your head. Top 5 Bowie films, and across the board, Labyrinth came up as a first thing because it's the first thing you think of.
It's a big one. Yeah, it's one for everyone. And I think it's good.
I think if it's going to be remembered for any role as well, it's going to be in any film role. It'll be for that as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, indeed. Actually, a bit of a surprise twist, Adam. I've got some honourable mentions of my own. Weirdly,
what? The amount of stick you give me for my honourable mentions.
I know, and I've even made that jingle Adam's top 5, and now I'm ruining it for you. But I felt like I needed to add my little bit.
2 cents.
First of all, not many people may have seen this, but Bowie did a little introduction bit for the film The Snowman, which isn't often seen, and the version they usually screen doesn't feature his. But on the VHS we had as a kid, there's Bowie, and he's the boy in the film but grown up, and he's like, he gave me the scarf, and I will never be able to watch The Snowman now. Too emotional.
I never knew this.
Yeah, well, check it out.
Is it out? Probably on YouTube, I'm assuming, but I never knew that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a good bit of trivia.
Yeah.
Got any other honourable mentions?
And finally one, it doesn't actually appear in the film, and it's another David Lynch one, is his work with Trent Reznor on the soundtrack for Lost Highway. It's got the best opening of any film I've ever seen, ever, because of Trent Reznor's dark, atmospheric rhythms, and then you've got Bowie's sort of haunting vocals on top, matched perfectly with the sort of visuals of the highway at night lit up with the headlights speeded up, and it just like straight away you're going somewhere.
You're on a journey. Crazy ride. But I suppose this is the thing, I mean, obviously he's passed on now, but he's still going to have a place in film. Beyond this point, because of his music. It is a soundtrack to a lot of eras, not just 70s. He's an artist who adapted his music through decade to decade, and he's going to be appearing in so many other soundtracks, films yet to be made. So
So David Bowie, we salute you and remember you through the medium of this podcast. So let's get on to our first film then. Okay, so that brings us on to our first film and food recommendation, which is The Man Who Fell to Earth, starring David Bowie, from 1976. And the plot of the film is Bowie is an alien who's crash landed on Earth on a mission to bring back a supply of water to his home planet, where his wife and kids are slowly dying in a pretty heinous way. And during his time on Earth, he becomes a millionaire through his advanced knowledge of technology. And then it all goes wrong when he meets Mary Lou. And soon the booze, lots of booze, sex.
Lots of sex.
Lots of TV.
There is lots of sex in this.
Yes, it's a bit fruity. But anyway, it's quite a surreal film, and it's quite a long film, and but it's worth a watch. I think Bowie's just incredible to watch, and some of the cinematography is just fantastic. The bits where he's sat in the desert, it's like, wow, it's so good.
It is, as we said earlier, it's a hard slog.
It is.
It's a hard slog.
But rewarding.
Not the only thing that's hard in this film as well, as we see David Bowie's penis, and also Rip Torn's penis.
Oh, that's true.
On several occasions. There are young girls, I say young girls, 18, legal, talking to Rip Torn's penis.
Yes, unusual. Yes, but well, there's also that scene of an absence of Bowie's penis when he strips off his man suit and becomes the sort of androgynous. Is that the term I'm using for alien?
He's humanoid, but minus the man bits.
Yeah, so
absent.
Yeah, so thinking about what to eat with this film. I mean, other than copious amounts of gin and vodka and anything else you could, sterilize your gums with. What I was thinking about is maybe thinking about what would an alien eat, particularly in that time period, crash land on Earth. If you're on a mission, you had a long flight back from Earth, you might want to stock up on something like a Frey Bentos pie, tinned foods, things that are going to last a while.
Corned beef.
You feel me?
Corned beef.
Bit corned beef.
I'm a big fan of corned beef. It's it's something good to come out of World War One.
Yeah.
Corned beef.
What spam?
Spam. Did spam come out of World War One?
I have no idea.
Most tinned meats, I think, didn't they?
Like with the do potatoes come from seeds thing that we had last time. I don't know.
And if you do know, if anybody out there does know, please write into us on Twitter. Do we have an email address? We actually have an email address. We do have an email address. I'm just not entirely sure what it is right now, but we do have one.
Is it email@gmail.com?
I think it is. I think it's ftwfb@gmail.com.
Yes.
Could be completely wrong.
Let us know.
Yeah.
By all means,
if anybody knows our email address, write in and let us know by carrier pigeon.
So, but do you have any suggestions on what you would eat?
Yeah, honestly, again, what was abundantly clear in the last episode is the little thought that went into my meal suggestions. And I'm a man of habit. I didn't want to let you down, Johnny. So, again, quite brief. I'm going for a garden salad.
Ooh, why?
Because I felt that I saw that much meat in this film with Ripton, David Bowie's penis. A lot of nudity. There's a lot of nudity in this film. It's very overly sexualized. But it's I understand why. It's about him kind of being sucked into humanity, no pun intended, being sucked into to humanity, and all the sin and depravity that comes with it. Sex, drugs, booze, money, greed, all that. I just didn't feel I needed to see Rip Torn's penis more than once.
So no sausages.
And so just a garden salad would be nice.
Well,
a little bit of dressing.
I suppose for those who are, anti-salad, maybe you could, if that, the exposure of Rip Torn's manhood inspired you, maybe you could go down the path of reminiscing on Bowie's time in Berlin, and maybe go for the bratwurst.
Bowie's bratwurst.
But
yeah, I mean, I don't want to focus too much on Rip Torn's manhood, because he's really good in that film. He's a really good actor. You just feel like you wish he's one of these actors that if the right movie came along, he just never really had that role that put him into being a household name, but completely capable of being that.
Of being more,
yeah,
more than a woman,
more than a woman,
more than a Rip Torn.
but good film.
Yeah,
hard slog.
So to summarise then, you could have yourself a Frey Bentos pie or a garden salad if you're feeling a little sheepish after all that members on display.
Smorgasbord of meats.
And so watch it. It's a great film. And that I think that brings us on to our film number 2.
Film number 2. We're keeping with the Bowie theme. We're going to move out of bizarre 70s sci-fi and into the realms of 80s fantasy.
Oh
yeah,
that's quite a plummet.
It is quite a plummet. But in the top 5 we had Labyrinth. So really we couldn't do this episode without discussing.
It's got to be done.
Labyrinth, and that's what we're going to do now. So Labyrinth, Johnny.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on Labyrinth as a film?
Well, it's a childhood favourite of mine.
I have a mixed relationship with this bit. Labyrinth, I've put it as David Bowie's number 1 film, but to be honest, it terrified me as a kid.
Really?
David Bowie's character, I don't know why. There's just something. It's just he's kidnapping a baby, and I was quite young when I watched it, and I think I was probably confused as to who this, he knew of David Bowie, but to me, for up until sort of teenage years, he was always the Goblin King, who kidnaps babies. So
wears very tight tights.
Maybe that's what terrified me.
The tights.
The tights left nothing to the imagination at all. And he's kidnapped a child, and is just pretty much torturing a young girl in the labyrinth.
And he's also indecently making an indecent proposal to is she 14? I think
should have been about 13 or 14. Yeah. Inappropriate.
His whole plan is to, in a weird way, kind of woo her. Yeah. But it's all sort of wrong, really. But it's still a great one for the kids. Fantastical labyrinth world with all these crazy characters.
Well, this is it. You've got Jim Henderson workshop,
the puppet master.
But it is. I love stuff like that. I love puppetry. I'm a big fan of it. I love seeing films with practical effects as well. And I think films like this, if this was done and it was all CGI'd, I think if we were 20 years on from now looking at it, it'd probably seem a little bit dated and more of its time. But I feel like
there was a rumor online the other day about a remake, but those rumors have since been quashed.
Good.
If that's the right term.
I don't think it needs to be
because it's an outrageous idea.
No, I agree. It's not a film that I feel needs to be remade and rehashed.
No,
we don't need to remake everything, But yeah, it's a good film. Good film. David Bowie again is as I said at the top of the show, is iconic.
He's got the hair.
Yeah, he's got a lot of hairspray. In there. Jennifer Connelly started off a career in that,
Yep.
She puts in a solid performance. And there's some lovable characters. And that's what you want from a children's film. You want it to be a little bit scary. Well, films when I was a kid, most of them were a little bit scary.
Oh yeah,
Goonies, that was always a bit scary. With the Fratelli family. She terrified me to that woman.
Yeah, she was a bit like... small dogged look like that woman from Poltergeist we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, can you do the voice for that as well? Johnny was doing an impression of the little creepy lady from Poltergeist, which was I'm
trying to think of this in the Goonies sense.
It was right up there with your Alec Guinness impression of last week.
Yep, that's a bit of a it's one I'm known for, as well as sounding like Marvin Gaye and the woman from Poltergeist.
So, many talents there, sir. Many talents.
But should we discuss food?
Yeah, let's. I mean, that is part of the show's.
Well, yes, it's like a sandwich. You've got the film and the filling, which is the food.
Exactly.
Which kind of a weird metaphor to use.
No. We right now we're going to get to the meat of the sandwich.
Ooh,
this is the meat of the sandwich. Food-wise, for this, I felt that. After watching this, I'd need to go to the Fat Duck, Heston Blumenfeld's restaurant. Now, if you're not familiar with this, Heston Blumenfeld, a lot of his meals are there, they trick the senses in a way. You'll have a prawn cocktail, which is actually, when you eat into it, it's actually a chocolate mousse. You'll have a garden salad. When you go into the garden salad, it's actually a beef stew.
You'll have a tramp shoe that's actually a lasagna.
Yeah, exactly. And that's very much like David Bowie's part in The Labyrinth. He's a trickster. She's Jennifer Connelly's character. She's going one way, and then he'll throw one of those orbs, and it'll throw a curveball. Nothing's quite as it seems. You're going through it. You don't know who to trust. Can she trust some of these characters? There's a sense of unease throughout it, and I felt that needed to be reflected in the meal. It's like, what am I going to get from this? It looks like a tramp shoe. Is it going to taste like a tramp shoe?
It's a pleasant surprise when it isn't. When you bite into that boot or that lace.
Exactly. Why not extend the world of the Labyrinth into the meal? And so that was my thinking behind the Labyrinth food choice. What about yourself, Johnny? What was your thoughts on that?
Well, I was trying to think how you could really, immerse yourself in the storyline and, Jarrett's peach. You could recreate that. Spike it with I don't know, a bit of LSD or Rohypnol.
What about?
You'll soon be in the Goblin City.
Yeah. What about a peach like soaked in some sort of alcohol? Alcohol soaked peach. Would that be nice?
I don't know if you get the same depth of experience. I mean,
yeah, I'm just thinking for later on,
or for those listeners who maybe don't have access to such substances.
So yeah, we're not advocating to use LSD or any other hallucinogenics.
No, it's just a suggestion. So that brings us to the end of our Bowie related food to watch films by for this episode. But we've got a new segment of the show coming up next. Okay, so we're now moving on to our final, and it's a new segment of the podcast, and we're also introducing a special guest. Can you believe it?
A special guest, yes.
Yes, and this guy, it's a friend of mine from way back when. I went to college, and for tonight he's asked that I don't use his real name, so I'm going to call him Mary Ann, or Maggie Smith even.
Mary Lou.
Mary Lou.
Yeah, that's relevance back to the man who fell to earth. Yeah. Mary Lou.
So Mary Lou. No, actually, it's Pablo. So do you want to say hello, Pablo?
Hello. I was hoping that you weren't going to go along the Mary Bell route with some sort of northeast-based horrible crime of the past.
Yeah, might not go.
Or I may just introduce the concept of it by mentioning it in the first place. So we'll move on quickly.
Yes, let's
hello.
Move on. But like I said, we've known each other for a long time, but we hadn't spoken to each other for about 15 years or something until today. But yeah, one of my standout memories of knowing you way back when was I think I remember going to a house party and went to the toilet upstairs and heard some ruckus going on in a bedroom. I thought, better go check this out. And there you were, stripped down in a pair of boxer shorts, wrestling anyone who came your way. And
classic Pablo.
Why my reputation is in tatters by my own doings. But no, that was a specific. It was a no clothes room or pants only room. On the thinly veiled attempt of maybe a lady might go in there and decide to take off her clothes, but it just ended up being about 10 men in a room in their pants, which will quickly integrate into a kind of wrestling match.
Yeah, essential for any party, really.
Oh, the memories of you.
Yes, good times. But yeah, no longer go to parties such as this.
Your man wrestling days are over, Johnny.
Yeah. But anywho, so anyway, we've brought you on the show because you listened to episode 1 and you sparked a little, sparked a little idea for another nugget to add to the show. Do you want to? Do you want to
drop that nugget?
Do you want to drop it like it's
like it's hot, like it's a hot steaming nugget?
Well, I can drop a hot nugget as I've been known to in the past. Clear a room normally, but this time I hope it'll be effective. Well, with the films to food to watch films by. Mix up there. I was thinking well, that's it. It's got a hook in. We've only had one so far. This is, we're partway through the second. It's going to catch. It'll catch. Exactly. So I was thinking of more of along the route of films to not food by, which would be films which generally aren't very pleasant to be eaten food with. Generally, is the violent, gory variety.
Yeah, the type that you might feel a slight movement in your trousers, not in a pleasant way either.
Not like when you're wrestling with men.
I think we've walked into some sort of sociological test to determine who may be predilections toward to murders and the like. But well, you can feel whatever you want in trousers whilst you're watching Dismemberment, Johnny. That's between you and whatever gods you follow.
Yes, there's.
But essentially, whatever you want to do with your trousers, I think we'll say it's probably not good to eat whilst watching these things, because you may well see it again soon if you chow down.
Yeah. Well, like I dropped a nice little surprise on Adam earlier, and I created a little jingle for his own little piece. So he's very happy with that, aren't you?
I've always wanted a jingle for my little piece.
Yeah. And so I've done the honours. I've done you one as well for what we were going to call it? Films not to food by.
Well, I was thinking on direct relation to the title of the podcast, but whatever form it finds, I'm amiable.
Well, I will play it. So here we go.
If you're gonna spew into this.
Yes.
I think I cut off the end there. It was a very Friday the 13th esque. I was getting a whiff of Clive. I was going to say Clive Barker. John Carpenter.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah. Bit of inspiration there. And yeah, so and obviously we've got the if you're going to spew into this. So could be an alternate title maybe for the segment, but we'll go. We could call it both.
Yeah,
who knows?
So yeah, Pablo, hit us with your hot steamy nugget.
Well, the nugget I bring to the table this time. Well, as it's due to be released in the UK after a very long dispute. I think Eli Roth, who is the director, just to drop a little bit of a hint there, of this film, Green Inferno, he'd be very happy to say that it was down to its content that it's not been released in the UK for 18 months, as it was originally due to be many moons ago. But it's apparently the distribution company went out of business, so it was more down to that than anything else. But it's soon to be released. I believe it's the 12th of February, and as it's been released in America for quite some time, I was able to watch a copy of it. And I must say, in regards to food to eat, you'd probably be all right having maybe a bit of a granola bar, or a bit of hummus, maybe some flatbreads, because this is very student-orientated. Effectively, it's a group of people who decide to go out to the Amazon rainforest to try and save some trees and some indigenous areas and peoples. As you would. I mean, it's obviously a concern for us all.
Yeah, everyone's got to save those trees.
Well, that's it. I mean, once they're gone forever. But as is often the case with this, it's heavily surrounded by social media to try and bring attention to the cause. And I think much in the same ways with a lot of social media attention in several causes, it's often people who are quite quick to jump to a cause without actually knowing anything about it. And
they eat hummus.
And there's never more... Pardon me?
And they eat hummus too.
Well, yes. Well, to be fair, students, I would assume these particular students with their own towards conservation and the like. I don't want to make assumptions. I don't want to have any kind of anti-hummus-based student movement against me, but I would say it's probably right for this. It's very kind of, let's all sit round on a kaftan and just chow down on some triangular snack dipped in stuff. So that's the kind of angle, that's the feel of it. Until they get to the Amazon, they do their thing, it all goes off without the hitch, they're very happy, they get in the plane, they're set off. Unfortunately, that plane crashes, and they're left face-to-face with some of the people they've been trying to save, who are an Amazonian tribe, who happen to be a little bit peckish for the long pig, i.e. a bit of human flesh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it's not good.
As I say, I mean, you've generally got a good portion of the film where it's quite easy going. There's a little bit of danger with some foresters and whatnot, deforesters. I'm not sure, Soul Company
Forrest
people.
Whitaker?
Forrest Whitaker, he may have been involved. I'm not sure. There's a segue I could go about Forrest Whitaker's dedication to using urination in all his films. In at least 3 or 4 films I've seen, he references urination quite a peculiar way, but I'll need to check my sources for that one. But essentially it's all fine and well until the first eyeball is plucked out, and it's quite a gory affair from there.
Like a dim sum style eyeball.
Yeah, and I think it's essentially, from what Eli Roth has said, it's kind of a homage to cannibal Holocaust and all the cannibal films of that time. And he went out there specifically to find a tribe that hadn't had much interaction with the outside world, never seen television or seen a film. And he went out there and he showed them, got a projector, and he showed them Cannibal Holocaust. I think it was Cannibal Holocaust. It was definitely one of those films. And they all loved it. They thought it was a comedy. They laughed their backsides off. And then he got them to appear in the film in exchange for new metal roofs for their huts. So, they all came out like gangbusters.
Wow. And pots for cooking, no doubt.
Yes, I mean, this particular film, it's his first time that he's directed since 2007, and that was the last one was Hostel 2. And obviously, if you've seen that or familiar with his written or directorial work, then it's much par for the course, but in a kind of
classic rom-com.
Yeah,
he's got some more
Valentine's
messages,
Day, maybe.
Well, previously it's all been internet or about communicable diseases. Generally things, from what I've seen of interviews of him, it's generally things that have happened to him. He got neck tonsillitis, so he wrote I can't remember what it was called now, the one about they're remaking it at the minute anyway. And then he saw something funny on the internet, so he did Hostel, and now he's had interactions with Amazonian tribes people, so he's done this film. But it's it's got some big messages there, but I'll say it's not a groundbreaking film, it's not a brilliant film by a massive stretch, but if you like a bit of gore, it's well worth a check. I would say I'll give it 3 gouged eyeballs out of 5.
Ooh, I have to think about
Just
that
imagine
one.
that face.
Yes.
Imagine the face those eyeballs come from.
I can picture them now, laid out. But
how did they serve up the eyeballs?
Well, it's quite an impressive manner, actually. The kind of female shaman type chieftain woman, mystic woman. She's got a kind of essentially what you often saw goths with in the late 90s, early 2000s. Those kind of like metal claw things you'd have on the end of your finger.
Oh,
do you know it's like a talon? You've got a kind of talon, but made out of bone, I assume, and she uses that to scoop out an eyeball. She also uses that to check for virginity later in some of the ladies. So watch out, fellas. There's a bit here. But yes, nothing is pleasant other than, if you like to see a bit of gore, which I do, so it was good in that regard.
but don't eat. Only to line your stomach at the start. But.
Well, I would stay maybe in that case, hummus and flatbreads is the right way to go. That's a good stodge. Maybe a porridge,
or the granola, as you said. That's a winner. I think
granola porridge or a bit of granola lines it, and it's got a little bit of Amazonian rainforest. I assume granola comes from the Amazon rainforest. I'm not very well travelled myself.
Yeah, I mean, washed down with a nice umbongo.
Well, they do drink it in the Congo.
No, that's the Congo. That's the Congo, Johnny.
Yeah.
That's the Congo. Yeah. No, but it's a good film. But I'd stay away from the light cheese because once you pluck an eyeball out, there's only one place to put it if you're a cannibal, and that's in your gob.
Ooh.
So, in my experience, lychee, the only reason you'd ever have a lychee is because it looks like an eyeball, and you're weird and you want to eat eyeballs. Yeah. So maybe it's a good thing to have if you want to do that.
Well, the strange things, lychees. I think I've tasted one once a long time ago. I didn't really know what it was.
It's this texture inside, isn't it? It is really weird. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely reacted as in like, what am I eating?
It does.
How dare you for giving me it?
It's part way between like a water chestnut and a pear. It's like it's a peculiar type of, and it actually comes in a little pod that you pop out, and it is very much like an eyeball.
Well, I suppose there you have it for anyone who's a bit more macabre. Someone who wants to maybe indulge a little in that cannibalism. You could always, get some light cheese in.
Yeah, again,
maybe.
God, sorry.
Oh, sorry, a bit of a cross chatter. I was going to say maybe an antipasto, some sort of mixed meat platter.
Yeah.
I might go maybe a barbecue. You know, if you want to go the full hog, but I would say just leave it be, because you won't like it. You won't appreciate it later.
Yeah. I've watched the trailer. It looks pretty.
Exactly.
Not one for the family.
I've only seen the trailer as well, and it's you can imagine it going down the same route as Hostel, which is just so much gore. There's so much blood, and
there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at the end of Hostel 2, which basically the climax is they start playing football with a guy's head.
Mm.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Hostel 2 might even have an eyeball scene in it itself, unless that's Hostel 1. But I think it's Hostel 2 where there's a protruding eyeball at one point.
I think
he's got a bit of a thing for eyeballs.
I think there's a dick cutting off scene as well, which is never a John is grabbing his crotch now. Is just in sympathy.
We've got,
I thought that was normally when eyeballs got gouged out and the ball went on and started having feelings in your trousers.
I was just trying to. We had a bit of a theme going on in this episode so far.
Well, there's been a definite.
So, should I be touching myself in my trousers now? Is this the theme? Because I missed that.
There's definitely been a member-based theme that keeps reappearing, shall we say?
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting title for this podcast.
Not that necessarily, to my mind, involves members, but I was going to say that as a recommendation, as a little film which kind of most people won't have seen, which is horror orientated. As a recommendation, is an Australian film called The Loved Ones.
Oh, okay.
Which is essentially, it's kind of like Misery meets The People Under the Stairs. It's got a very essentially it's a girl who asks a boy out to prom in Australia, and he says no, and he doesn't take no for an answer.
Ooh.
And takes him home. But it's very good. There's drills involved. There's bleach, kind of Drano. You know, excellent little film. And as I say, because of the title and because of the way I think it was advertised, you generally would avoid it whilst you're flicking through Netflix or what have you, but it's definitely one to watch.
Yes, or if you're usually inclined to films with that title, you might be misled and end up watching something you wouldn't want to.
I fell foul of it myself. I had it recorded on my television for several months before I actually watched it. I thought it was going to be some sort of American kind of slasher high school horror atrocity. I say atrocity in the case of a bad film rather than in a film about an atrocity. But it's very good, and Australian. Lots of good films coming out of Australia over the last few years.
Bro. Well, that's some good recommendations there for anyone who likes a bit of gore, and a bit of a little less rom-com.
Yeah, a little bit of guts thrown in there and eyeballs. Yeah, it's
dismemberment.
An appropriate pick.
Well, as long as there's heart somewhere involved, whether it's being devoured or pulled out of somebody's chest or being won by a fair lady.
Yes. Okay, well, it's been a real pleasure, and no doubt I'm sure we'll have you back at some point to give us some more films not to food by, and we'll have the sick bags ready.
Coolio,
my
thirst for blood is never quenched, so there will always be films on the offing.
Tasty.
I will kill again. Sorry, did I say that bit out loud?
And that is why we didn't use his real name.
Some of you may see me sooner than you think. Or not if I do it right.
Okay, so I'm going to hang up now.
You can edit that. You can edit all that.
All right.
Just so it doesn't incriminate
Pablo,
me.
are you actually behind us? Are you in the room?
I'm scared.
Okay. You know, if you wake up with any moisture on your neck, it's just I've been making sure that you sleep at night very closely.
Okay, well, sleep tight, Pablo, And till next time.
Well, no, I've got to get my stepladder out and start looking through windows. Cheers, Pitch. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Cheers, buddy.
Right. Adios.
Right, cheers,
See you later.
Right. Toodles.
Bye. So what a nice guy, yeah? Do you feel inspired to go watching Green Inferno?
I'm not going to lie, I'm not the biggest Eli Roth fan.
But have the stomach for it.
But it's that curiosity factor. It's like, how gross can you get?
Yeah.
Like, what is the maximum? I remember Hostel 2. There was some parts where I had to look away.
Yeah.
I don't get grossed out too easily, but there's some parts where I was struggling to stomach it. I suppose that's kind of his appeal. That's his fan base, isn't it?
That's his niche.
That's his niche, indeed.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to watch anybody who's trying to push things, boundaries,
Again.
push things to the extreme. Sometimes it can be in the sacrifice for a good storytelling, but you know what, I'm going to give it a watch. Pablo has certainly inspired me to do so.
Yeah. So I think we'll make that a bit of a regular segment. Films not to food by, as well as food to watch films by. It's nice to have that contrast. So that's starting to bring us to a close of episode 2. Just before I do, I've just got a couple of listener suggestions to read out. We've got an Aaron Doig of Nagasaki in Japan. Something he recently watched was David Cronenberg's The Fly. It's a pretty intense film if you haven't watched that.
Yeah.
So we won't explain the film, but his suggestion were mashed potatoes and spaghetti hoops. Visually, this would give you this is a simple homage to the wonderfully grotesque visual effects of the film, and that image there is pretty unpleasant. For a more enhanced effect, Aaron recommends that you'd add generous amounts of black pepper, garlic and raw onions to the mash to aid immersion into the on-screen events by bringing about indigestion of acid reflux. And this would simulate Jeff Goldblum's mutating into the Brundle fly.
I love the thought that's gone into that.
Yeah.
You know what? That is what this podcast is about.
Yes.
Delving into those depths. But again, that is a film that could easily be in Introducing Pablo's section.
Yeah. I must admit, I feel a bit sick right now.
Yeah. It's not inspired me to eat that, but I love the connection.
Yeah.
Is it Aaron or Aaron? How would you say?
Aaron Doig. Konnichiwa. Yep. And
Moshi.
And finally, not a suggestion, but a request from a Nathan Bilton in York, who has asked. He wants to watch the Che films, Che Guevara, and he was wondering if we had any recommendations for food. I've not actually seen the films, but
there's two. It's the 2-part thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not watched them yet. It's been on my to-do list for a while, but it's one of those. I've got to be in the mood to watch it. I can imagine Benicio del Toro is a great actor, so I'm certainly open to giving that a view.
Maybe you could go down the communist line. Maybe get a tear and share bread or something. Share it with the people you're with.
Equal measurements.
Yes, very important
for all.
And
I can imagine that being a bit of a ball ache, though. Making sure everybody's got, which is potentially why communism is flawed. Some would say that, or maybe that's the flaw in it.
Yes. Well, and wash it down with a couple of caipirinhas, Brazilian rum cocktails. Maybe that'd be nice. So, that's a bit of a refreshing palate cleanser to leave you on after all that hideousness. So, if you do have any of your own suggestions of food to watch films by, you can tweet us at FTWFB podcast. We've also got a Facebook page as well called Food to Watch Films By, and so send us your suggestions and we'll read them out.
We are a big fan of catchy titles and easy to digest
Twitter names. Yeah. Okay, well, this has been Food to Watch Films by episode 2. Bye.
Bye-bye.